Good morning, Rocky Mount. I'm Crystal Dawes, and I want to thank you for joining us today on WNCR TV. You know, summers can be very hot in North Carolina, and rainy days seem far and few between. Although this makes for a great day to be outside, it can wreak havoc on your lawn. Joining us via satellite is Sean Emerson, Director of Agronomy and Superintendent of the Desert Mountain Golf Course in Scottsdale, Arizona. He's going to show us some tricks of the trade to help us keep a healthy lawn for the toughest times. Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm doing fabulous. It is hot and humid here in North Carolina. We're hoping for some rain actually so we can get our lawns looking nice. I want to talk to you about golf course grass. I mean, how come it's always so green, it's always maintained and beautiful? How can we get our grass to look the same?
Well, let me give you a couple quick tips to help you there. One of the most important things to get your yard right is to know when to water. Typically we tell people the best time to water is between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. If you water too late in the day, you lose too much water to evaporation or wind. If you water too early in the day, especially in North Carolina where you have humidity, you create a wet surface which can lead to fungus or diseases. So that's key to know when to water. Another key component for us on the golf course would be how to water. You know, I always tell people instead of watering for one long cycle, say you want to put 15 minutes of water down at one time, break it up into 2 or maybe even 3 cycles. This will allow the water to penetrate the soil and go directly where you want it to go. And that's key because you need to zone off your yard and your stations. A lot of people think, well, you just turn on the clock and let it go. But people don't realize a plant will need different water than a tree, which will need different water from your yard. And one of the things that we use on a golf course that many homeowners also can use is a drip irrigation system. As you see right here, we run tubes right to the plant itself. And we make sure we're watering the base of the plant, not outside the plant. So if I take this common screwdriver, I can poke in 6 inches where the water's going, and 2 feet away from the plant, I can't even get the screwdriver 1 inch into the ground because I'm not watering that.
I see.
So it's very important to know what you're watering, how to water. And I can also this can be fun also. And one way it can be fun is you need to check your system all the time. You're running it, you're not always there. You got to make sure you don't have any breaks or any leaks or your sprinklers are not turning. So one way I check my yard is I put my kids in their bathing suit, I'll check the sprinklers, and they run around the yard for 5 to 10 minutes on a Saturday, and we have a great time doing it together. You know, it's real important to put the water where you want it to go. I also have some great tips at rainbird.com that you can help you with any more advice if you need some.
Well, that's great. Could you give us that, that address again?
Rainbird.com.
Okay, great. You know, I've heard about non-potable watering. What is it and why do you use it?
Well, non-potable water is usually sewer water or rain drainage water. It's not drinkable, so the golf courses use it because you can't, as a homeowner, drink it, and it's an alternative source for the water.
That's a great idea. There's a lot of talk here in North Carolina, especially we have certain days that we are allowed to water our lawn, certain days that we're not. What should homeowners do about brown patches in their lawn, those ugly spots you just can't get rid of?
Well, make sure the brown patches are not coming from overwatering your yard. A lot of times you overwater your yard, it stresses out the turf, and you create a disease. So I would say make sure it's not coming from that. Make sure you're not cutting your yard too short. A lot of people like to cut their yards low, make it look like a golf green or something. You need to cut it around 1 inch. I don't know if you know this, but North Carolina State is one of the leading turf schools in the United States right now on golf courses.
I did not know that. It's a little bit more information. That's great. Is there anything else you can think of you can tell us? Any extra tips you have for us to keep our lawns looking nice and green in the hard time of summer?
Well, I think the most important thing is use visual observation. Don't be afraid to walk your yard, let the system run, make sure the water's going where you want it to go, and it's penetrating the ground instead of creating runoff. Look for those early signs, and that way you can conserve water and save some money at the same time.
Thank you so much, Scott, for being with us today. I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for joining us on WNCR TV for news, views, and interviews. I'm Crystal Dawes, and we'll see you next time.